media.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. We need to talk about Justin Trudeau and his mainstream paid shilled prostitutes once again, because some alarming concerns have come forward that are really going to play into our next election. When it comes to mainstream media, how they're dressing things up, essentially to influence people's polling or influence people's willingness to vote or who they're going to vote for at the polls, is alarming. I'm going to lead into a discussion about AI because a lot of people, it kind of fits in with AI. A lot of people have had concerns about AI for quite some time. When you look at AI, when you look at deep fakes, when you look at being misled by information, I'm not going to say the word that the liberals always use because I hate it. But when we look at the lies that can be fed to us through things like AI, through deep fakes, a lot of people say that it's a technology that really we shouldn't have access to because it could essentially be the next form of attacking a country by faking conversations, faking meetings, faking videos where people are saying they're going to do certain things they weren't going to do, or they attack a certain group of people that they had no idea they were even attacking. This is now becoming true when it comes to Canada's elections. And I've been saying for quite some time, we all know that after Justin Trudeau takes a page from the American playbook on how they run their elections, we'll see the same kind of shenanigans here. This week, of course, Justin Trudeau has taken that step over the line with CTV. I'm going to get into that, but first I want to get into why he's doing that. If you look over at 338 Canada, here are the current polls coming out with the Conservatives at 43. They've got a 4% gain. Trudeau and the Liberals at 24% with a 3% gain. But you'll see here that the NDP are only at 16%. With a 3% gain as well. Again, I think there's some shifting going on. Just some NDP are moving Liberal and vice versa. Maybe because of jagmeet's supposed ending of deals that didn't end, that were stunts. It's tough to say. Again, I always say a poll is a poll. Nothing is certain until we have it in writing, until we go to the election polls and actually vote. But Pierre taking a considerable lead over both the NDP and the Liberals. Now, since last year around this time, Justin Trudeau hired a new campaign organizer, we'll say, or a new campaign image consultant who said that they were going to focus on trying to Americanize Canadian elections by essentially labeling Pierre Poilievre close to Donald Trump. Now, the other day I reported on Justin Trudeau and his trip to New York, where he sat down with woke, failed late-night host Stephen Colbert. And in that interview, both him and Colbert referred to Pierre Poilievre as a fascist, then saying that he was a fascist comparable to Donald Trump. Again, these are attack methods used because not only are Americans coming up in an election, but they want to label Pierre Poilievre as far right on the scale to align with Donald Trump so that maybe any voters, I guess, that are typically borderline conservative or leaning towards conservative that don't like Donald Trump might start comparing Pierre to Donald and moving over back to the left side of the spectrum. It's all dirty tactics, but nonetheless, using the words like fascist, again, I don't know what the rules are on defamatory comments or statements, but I would hope that if Pierre could do anything, he'll do anything about that. But what I want to talk about today, the reason that they're attacking these polls, is because they're doing everything they can to get Justin Trudeau a little bit of a lead on this 24%. Andrew Scheer from the Conservative Party has brought out an alarming video showing us just what CTV is doing. If you thought deepfake was bad, these are the actions of your government-paid media shill prostitutes. I'm going to play the clip for you, and then we're going to discuss.
It's no wonder distrust in the media is at an all-time high. It's because Canadians are seeing more and more examples of how they twist the truth. But this one takes the cake. I've never seen anything like this. CTV News just got caught creating fake news.
Let's go to this retraction, and then we'll get back to the video. Last night in a report on this broadcast, we presented a comment by the official opposition leader, Pierre Poilievre, that was taken out of context. No, it was manipulated. If it left viewers with impressions the Conservative non-confidence motion was to defeat the Liberals' dental care program. In fact, The Conservatives have made it clear the motion is based on a long list of issues with the Liberal government, including the carbon tax. A misunderstanding during the editing process resulted in this misrepresentation. We unreservedly apologize to Mr. Poilievre and the Conservative Party of Canada. We regret that this report went on air in the manner that it did. Now, the reason this is a big deal is because they're making defamatory statements about Pierre. They've taken his words and twisted them. Essentially, the reason they have to retract and apologize, they didn't make an editing error. They were hoping it would slip by. That's all they were hoping for. They wanted it to slip by under the rug unnoticed so that they could paint a terrible picture of Pierre Poilievre. I scrolled back a little so we can get the audio back here. Let's listen here again. I'm going to let it play. I just wanted to show that retraction because once you see what CTV did here, you tell me in the poll question, let's do a polling comments down below. Tell me if you think that CTV did this intentionally or it was just a simple editing mistake. Let's go.
It's the truth. But this one takes the cake. I've never seen anything like this. CTV News just got caught creating fake news. They were trying to promote a government talking point, and they took a clip of Pierre Poilievre making a statement about the carbon tax and giving Canadians a carbon tax election, and they spliced it together to do this.
While the continuation of the plan appears safe for now, the events of the last week have raised new questions over the plan's future.
That's why we need to put forward a motion.
The Conservatives announced a non-confidence vote.
That's why it's time to put forward a motion for a carbon tax election. That's why we need to put forward a motion for a carbon.
The Conservatives announced a non-confidence.
Pierre never actually said that sentence. This is the lengths that they'll go to try to protect the Liberals and take your attention off of the carbon tax and all the damage it's doing to Canadians. This is what Conservatives are up against. Not just the Liberals and NDP, but their friends in the media, the bought and paid for parliamentary press gallery that will do everything they can to present Liberal policies in a favorable light and make you believe things that aren't even true about the Conservatives. Next time you see a CTV news broadcast painting Conservatives in a negative light, ask yourself this one question. Did that even really happen?
Now, to make matters worse out of the whole situation, not really worse for us, but worse for them, when you talk about these government-paid shield prostitutes, the pleb tweeting out Pierre Poilievre has now banned CTV News from interviewing his Conservative MPs. The fake news network has officially been blacklisted by Conservatives. 0 interviews, 0 comments, 0 email replies, 0 text backs, nothing. Do you support this move? Yeah. Yeah, we support this move. It's one that this shows the karma that's coming the way of the mainstream. Pierre Poilievre has announced many times that he will be defunding the CBC. He'll be defunding all of these platforms. And while that's a funny end of the story, we've got to discuss the real effect of what this does. Now, here's the problem with this. Here's the problem with all of this. How can we, as Canadians, be guaranteed that the information we're being fed from any source at this point is legitimate? Anybody who watches this channel will say, well, Derek, and I've seen it before in the comments, people have said, well, I feel like sometimes this channel is a little one-sided. I've simply replied and said, show me something of value that any other party has brought to the table. I'll happily report on it. I'll talk about it. I think it's important to talk about all sides of politics. But of course, we're going to talk negatively about the Trudeau Liberals, about the NDP, about the Bloc. Look at what they're doing. This is our current functioning society of government. They're manipulating the media. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not that oblivious to things. They've been doing it for a long time. But what I'm saying is that this really makes it difficult when we move forward with the government. When you look at the older generation, and again, no insult to anybody who's in the older generations, the boomer generation that watches this channel. But again, I relate to those that I know of this generation that don't watch YouTube, that aren't on the internet, that don't find alternative media sources. There are still a very large number of Canadians who watch mainstream media and consume it thinking that what they're being fed is accurate information. I've said for the longest time that I don't believe that any form of media should take any money from government because it's a conflict of interest. It allows any government, whether they're conservative, NDP, liberal, Green Party, Bloc, whatever, to essentially manipulate those who are at the head of state to take essentially bribe money to put forward whatever stories the government wants them to. Justin Trudeau tried to make a joke about that infamous joke at the press gallery dinner, saying, we pay them to write the stories we tell them to. They lie for us because we give them millions and millions of dollars. This is a problem as we move forward in Canada. CTV, of course, were printing this retraction, saying that they're sorry, they apologize. We all know that they're not sorry. We all know that they did this deliberately. They're trying to manipulate the viewer. Somebody please tell me in the comments down below if you think that it's the other way around, that they made an honest mistake. I'll entertain any reasonable explanation, but until that time, folks, I have no choice but to say this is all part of the plan. It's all part of government-paid media aligning with Justin Trudeau because they know that when Pierre Poilievre gets in as Prime Minister, their time in the sun is over. Pierre has said many times he's going to defund the CBC. They're going to stop spending money on news outlets. I personally believe, whether I'm on YouTube or not, that any media outlet that reports any information, whether it be on YouTube, Rumble, any other social media platform, or if they're an outfit like Rebel Media, like CTV or Global, or any other outfit or organization, even the CBC, they should be getting their funding from sponsors in order to maintain and run their stations or their ability to report on media. If you are not reporting accurately, and if people don't want to back you and sponsor your work, well, then guess what? You're going to go out of business. Being on that thin line might convince a lot of these outfits that they have to start doing something called, what is it? It's something the media hasn't done for a long time. Oh yeah, tell the truth. You might have to tell the truth once in a while to your viewers in order to stay in business. And that's where I'm at, folks. That's what really grinds my gears, as Peter Griffin would say. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Are you surprised that CTV did this? Again, do you think that it was an honest mistake? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Make sure as you're chiming in, you also leave a thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button, turning on your bell for notifications, and join me live here on the channel each and every Friday night for Friday Night Fringe, our live streaming show, where not only myself, but my beautiful wife, Mrs. Fringe, joins us here on the channel to sit down and we'll talk about politics each and every week that's happened, as well as everything we know that's coming up in the week ahead. And we've got some fun stories, some cool, lighthearted conversation with our community back and forth, and we always look forward to hearing what you guys have to say each and every week here in the live streams. Again, that all starts here at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, every Friday on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.